We're live.
All right.
We're rolling. There's just two of us here right now. Okay, I can see on the live stream. On my view, you're like Roger's already here.
Oh boy.
He's on the spot. All right, Roger, send in your questions.
Tell him he's going to take Peyton's spot tonight.
Yeah, you might have to join in and take Peyton's spot, and we'll be here for like 4 hours. On my end, I can only see like the wide angle, so it's like a horizontal rectangle, and then on the live stream, it's vertical. So I can see your chair.
Yeah, my little blue chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stole it out of my daughter's room.
Yeah, I could tell.
It's one of those little beanbag chairs. I'm basically sitting on the floor.
Yeah, y'all should see his setup. You could he put a little thought into it. Some people we get, they're just like obviously just on their phone and they're like not even trying.
Got me some lighting effect and everything.
Yeah. So I see you're drinking some coffee. Do you normally is it caffeinated?
Oh yeah.
Do you normally drink coffee at night?
Not this late normally, but I knew I was going to be up for a little bit, so.
Yeah.
And usually caffeine, or at least coffee, usually I can drink it and go right to sleep. So it probably won't bother me too much. But I usually drink a cup every night after dinner, so most of the time it's more around 6 or 7 o'clock.
He wanted to join the podcast.
He's going to take Peyton's place.
If I drink, you're going to take Peyton's place, Riley.
He looks better anyways.
Yeah, he's a lot better looking.
Okay.
Yeah. He listens a little more too. Uh-huh. Yeah. But if I drink caffeine past like 4, Roger says say no to decaffeinated coffee. You can see these comments if you go to the YouTube. But if it's after like 4 or 5, I'll feel tired, but I feel like a lot of times I'll just be laying in the bed staring at the ceiling.
Yeah, restless. Your mind just don't stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that if I drink pre-workout late in the evenings. Like if that's one reason I can't work out late in the evenings, because if I drink pre-workout and then go pump something, hit the gym and all that, get all pumped up and fired up, when I come home I can't sleep. Like
I did night workouts for like a week, and that's really the only reason I switched back to the day. Well, there's 2 reasons. Was because I couldn't take pre-workout because I would be up all night.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I don't have that, like, I might as well just wake up early in the morning and go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then just like there was like nobody there that I knew. So I was like, and I was going late at night, like 10 o'clock. So it was okay, but I didn't like it.
Was there people in there at that time?
Yeah, they're actually just random people.
Yeah, I know.
I guess teenagers.
When we go in the mornings, there ain't too many. There's a few consistent people. But outside of that, it's just us.
Right, it's always the same group of guys in there.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice little community. Roger says, what kind of pre-workout does Jonathan use? He's trying to plug.
Oh, man. I should have worn my sponsor shirt tonight.
Yeah.
I have tons of Redcon 1 shirts. I should have wore one. But yeah, I pretty much only use Redcon Total War. That's all.
How can somebody get some of that? How can somebody get some of that? We'll help Roger out.
Or go to Redcon 1 to their website. They got an app, and put in Roger Howell as your tier operator.
Boom.
There you go.
You just help folks out, man. Our most prominent family on the podcast. This is the third Howell.
I know.
So how many siblings do you have?
I got 5 siblings. So I got one older brother. I'm second oldest. Then 3 more brothers underneath me, and then the youngest of all of us is my sister, the only girl.
Saved her for last.
Yeah.
She had plenty of brothers to.
She did.
5 you know about, Roger said. Probably 5 you all know about.
Yeah.
Yes. That's one thing about being a little crazy your younger years, man. You 30 years down the road, you meet your kids.
Bro, you got Spider-Man crawling up the wall behind you.
Yeah, I see him. He was like that last week too. Man, what do you do about a 2-year-old, man?
There ain't much you can do.
Yeah,
you just let them roll.
Yeah, they just don't listen. Just have to. They have to learn from experience. So yeah, man. So to kind of introduce you, this is Jonathan Howell. He goes to the gym at the same time as me. We've worked out some together back when I first started. We've all kind of, well, you mainly have switched up what you do in the gym.
Yeah.
But as far as that goes, that's about all I know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going to the gym since it opened. I think that was what 2016, 2017, I think, when Becky opened the gym. I had just started, I think, earlier that year. It was early 2016. A guy in our church, Matt Robertson, started. He was having like physical, like back pain problems, like having a lot of issues out of his back, and he had started getting into some working out, stretching, things like that. That was really starting to help. So then he started actually in our church building. Started offering for some of us to get together. I think originally we started like on Monday nights, and we would go to the church, and originally we were doing like PWIP, all those weird, stretching movements and stuff, which, a lot of it was good. You still got a decent workout, some of those holds and stuff that you got to do. And then we started playing with some other stuff, like doing some circuit training. We started adding in like some dumbbells and ab mats, different things like that. We started adding in little circuits and stuff. Then we moved outside, started meeting up at the park in Batesville, started doing some running and pull-ups and everything. And dude, I can remember those early times. Like, I used to die. Like, I remember one time out there at that park, we had some running, and I threw up. Like, it was so bad. I was so out of shape back then. But yeah, like I think I was 25 at the time, had never worked out before, like had never been to a gym, never done anything. And Matt got us all in the church started doing that. And then when Becky opened the gym, I think it was late in that year, and Matt started, he was a coach. He was one of the first coaches there. He was doing the Insanity early in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I started out doing. Me and I had one of my best buds, Cody Walker, talked me into going up there with him. And so we started going in the mornings to the Insanity class, and then we would do a few weights or something afterwards. And just from there, man, I think I did that for like the first 6 months, something like that. And in my first WOD, I remember everybody kept talking about this big workout that they were going to be doing out there in the CrossFit room. And everybody kept talking to me about it, wanting me to come do it. Had no idea what it was, just knew it was some big thing they do every year. Turned out it was the Murph. So that was my first CrossFit workout.
Wow.
Was the Murph. Of course, it was scaled, and I don't even know if I did the full thing or not. I don't even remember what I did that year. But and then from that point on, I was hooked on CrossFit, and for years, up until probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that, that was all I did, man. I loved CrossFit. I did that and lifting. We were doing it all, and I think that's uh, kind of where like I probably messed up in some ways. I was overdoing it, dude. I was just always hurting, always tired, always had a bum shoulder, or something.
Yeah.
And especially when I'd try to start doing some running and stuff like that too, then I'd start
Man.
getting uh, shin splints and everything else. And man, it was always something.
Yeah.
And so for the last probably year and a half, 2 years, something like that now, I've been pretty much nothing but lifting. I've done some running here and there, mainly when I was training for something, a race or a Spartan race, something like that. Uh, but this year, I ain't ran since January. I raced. I ran my longest trail run. It was a race in January, and I ain't ran since.
Yeah, I think I
So
noticed that. You were knocking the runs out, and then that was it after January.
dude, like when I'm committed to something, I am fully committed. But once I meet my goal, like
It's over.
I can, but I'm consistently in the gym. So that's one thing I stay consistent at. I love lifting. I
Yeah.
love getting up and going to the gym in the mornings. Uh,
Yeah.
but as far as now, I like running. I enjoyed it. It's just for for me and like with our family and the way we operate and function, everything, dude. It's so hard to uh to train like I really want to train for
Right.
running. Like if I was really going to dedicate to running, because I enjoy trail running a lot more than road, and trying to trail run, you know, every day at 4:30 in the morning in the dark with a headlamp when it might be raining or which
Yeah.
I know that that's just something you deal with when trail running, but it's still, and you have to, for me anyways, I have to put in so much more time
Yeah. It takes
when
up
I'm
a lot
running.
more time.
Yeah, whereas the gym, I mean, we're in and out of there, an hour and a half, and so it works a lot better. I can go every morning, get in, get my workout, get a shower, get to work, and have the rest of the day with the family when I get off work.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now because I'm like 13 weeks out from the marathon we're gonna do, and so I'm really getting to the point where I'm gonna have to start either cutting more into my family time or scaling back my gym workouts, which I
Yeah,
really don't want to do because I love those
yeah,
so much. But man, I'm feeling super strong,
yeah.
and I'm just now getting to where I'm feeling a little beat up. So, but I'm also starting to back off the strength stuff. So,
Yeah,
anyways, what was that run you did in January? What was it? You said it was a long trail run?
yeah. That was they call it the Swamp Stomper. They do up in I think it's the Shelby National Forest.
Yeah,
They do it every year up there in January. Uh,
I'm interested.
it was a 25K they have a 25 and a 50K. I did the 25K. Uh,
So that's 15 miles.
yeah, yeah. It was right at 15 miles, and it was like the course was really good, and this year it was really good. I've read horror stories of that course uh, when we've had a really wet season. Like that's why they call it Swamp Stomper, because they said there's parts of it that turns into like it is. You're running through a swampland in some areas, but this year was pretty dry. Like barely ran through anything wet. Uh, Still some sandy stuff, few creeks and stuff, but as far as mud,
Not
nothing
too
like
bad.
that. Yeah, and the weather was great. I mean, it was a crisp morning, but not like just killing you freezing cold. It was something where you was a little chilled at the start, but once you got going, it was really good. But it was
Yeah,
a fun run. I really enjoyed it.
trail running is
It
a
was,
lot harder than you think it is.
oh, dude, man, and and I haven't even done none of the hard stuff. Like there's
Yeah,
there's trail runs that, the elevation and stuff just really, that's where you really
Yeah.
start dying at.
So I'm not even one to like running. I like running, but I don't like running,
Yeah,
especially because I'm like heavy. And
yeah.
so I was on YouTube like a few weeks ago, and this guy was doing a 50-mile trail run in like Montana or something. And for some reason, like I'm like, if they would have just said 50-mile ultra marathon,
Yeah,
but just watching the video and seeing the
yeah,
views and just what they're running through, I'm like, man, I
yeah.
want to do that.
I
And I don't
know.
even like long distance running. Like I ran my 20 miler last year, and I went ahead and decided like this distance running was not for me. Like I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, anything over a half marathon, I'm just out. But
Yeah,
now here I
yeah.
am doing another marathon.
I know.
It's like the day after you're like, well, the day of you finish the marathon, you're like, I'm never doing that again. And then like 3 hours, you're like, maybe. And then the next day you're like, all right, I'm winning my next one.
I had actually told myself that in January when I did that race, my plan was to run that 25K in January, and then in this fall, in October, they have one at the Big Hill Pond State Park that they do every year. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. But I was going to sign up to do the 50K. I have quite a few people that I follow, like on Strava and stuff, and some people I know that are locally that do a lot of running and trail runners and stuff, and that's just a big one everybody does every year. And my
Have you
plan
done any?
initially,
Go
anyway,
ahead.
well, I was just saying my plan initially was after I ran that to keep training and train for the 50K this fall. Uh, but then we found out that we were expecting another little one, and the little one is supposed to be here about mid to late September. So
Uh-oh.
I figured that was probably not a good time
Yeah.
to try to be at the peak of my training for a a 50K where I need to
Right.
really be out on the trails. Uh, so I
Yeah, I
pulled
had
back on the running.
last year we had our latest baby, and it was August, and I had the marathon in December. Just looking back, just a few weeks into my training now, I could definitely tell this is going to go a lot better because I'm pretty sure I did like a 4 mile run like every other week or something, and then besides that, I was doing the long runs, and I could see why it went so bad. Like my marathon
Yeah,
went terribly, but
yeah,
I can see why now. Like I didn't train at all. I'm already
yeah.
like my biggest month I think was like 50 miles. I had two 50-mile months, and one of those I had a 20-mile run in it. So,
Yeah,
and now I'm at like 30, and I'm not even halfway through the month.
yeah.
So it's definitely gonna be a lot more mileage. What do you
Are
think?
you are you
Yeah, go
following
ahead.
a training plan, or are y'all just
Yeah, I have
kind
a
of feeling
plan.
it?
See, last time I didn't have a plan. My well,
Maybe
I
that's
knew
why
it
it went
was.
so bad.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be suboptimal because we had just had a baby.
Yeah,
And I was really just like, any amount of running I do, I'm going to be in better shape than I am right now. And I'm going to take what I get. I just wanted to complete it, which they would have had to make me stop for me not to complete the marathon, which I think I
yeah,
was like
yeah.
20 minutes away from them picking me up. But I think the cutoff was 6.5 hours. I was at 6:06 or something. But I finished it.
Yeah.
That last like 10K took me like 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
Dude, I can't
I,
imagine. I've never
bro,
run a marathon, dude.
it was it
Especially on a
was
road.
great until 17 miles. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, but I might get to that in a minute. But yeah, I have a training plan. We all have one. Uh, I wrote it out just based on what I saw, and then kind of tweaked it to what I wanted to do because
Yeah.
I knew that like this week and next week were like going to be my peak strength weeks.
Yeah.
So I really don't crank the mileage up till like 2 weeks from
Yeah.
now. But I'm feeling great. So we're
Yeah.
going to fill it out. I'm going to try to stay as strong as I can, as long as I can, just to hold that on because it's really
Yeah.
hard to keep it on. And for my YouTube channel, I just was like, I'm gonna max out the week of the marathon just to see what happens. But I feel like it's gonna be good. But
you ever heard
we
of the
kind of
Lift
made
Heavy
our
Run Long group?
Lift Heavy Run Long.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. There's a Lift Heavy Run Long group. Like, go on Facebook and look them up, and
I'm
like
gonna look it up.
that's the whole point of their group. And there's a lot of runners in there and a lot of local people in there. That's the whole, like, they all like to
Lift
run,
long, run heavy.
but no, lift heavy, run long.
Yeah, I
But
see it popped up
but
quick.
yeah, and dude, like, and they even have like some, I don't forget now, but like some more, like, you can be recognized on their website if you, I think, run a 50 miler and deadlift 500 pounds in the same day or something like that for a
Oh
male.
snap!
Yeah, so like there's like some big goals, and there's some
I gotta
guys
get
in
my
there that's
deadlift
done
up.
it.
That's kind of
Yeah,
like one of my all-time lifetime achievement goals is to squat 500 and run sub 5, but I'm nowhere near
oh,
either of those.
ooh, dude,
I'm gonna shoot for the moon and like maybe I'll land back on Earth.
dude, I can't imagine putting 500 on my back.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad right now.
it's gonna take.
My
Man,
squats have been feeling terrible lately.
I was feeling that way like 2 months ago. I was like 315 was killing me, and like just a little bit of a squat progression. After a couple months, man, I'm feeling stronger than ever, and like I was feeling so weak
Yeah,
just a couple months
yeah.
ago.
Sometimes
So
things just, I don't know. For me, I
strength's a
feel like,
skill.
yeah. Well, my squat has always been like my best lift and the one I've always been most comfortable with. But lately,
Yeah,
it just hasn't felt like everything's there. I don't know. You know how that, like,
yeah,
you know, when you have it, like your body and your mind, like really feel in sync, you know, and it like, it just hadn't felt that way lately. And, but I feel like my stance has changed a little bit. I went a while, changed up my footwear. Like, I've
yeah,
always lifted in lifters. Uh, and then here, I don't know, a couple months ago, I started wearing just some flat shoes, just some, whatever you call them chucks or
yeah.
whatever they are. Uh, Started squatting in them for a little while and didn't feel terrible, but just didn't feel the same. Never felt
Right.
super comfortable. So I went back to my lifters. And I don't know, I feel like ever since then, like, I feel like my stance is a little wider than what I used to squat, but that's what feels comfortable right now. But I don't know if that's what it is, or it just, sometimes you have it, sometimes you
I
don't.
know. I know. For me, it's frequency. Like if I'm not squatting twice a week,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it because like once a week I forget how to squat. Like
Oh yeah,
over 4 days, like I'm like, how did
oh
I
yeah.
do this? Like I'm
I know.
tweaking my stance and everything, but just the frequency because it's like a
Oh
skill.
yeah.
You just gotta put them heavy
Same,
weights
same
on
for
your
me.
back. You know.
Same for me.
Yeah. I go. It was like just a couple months ago. I was like, how do I squat, man?
I
Now it's
know.
just like I still don't even know how I do it. It's just muscle memory basically. And I changed it up. Like I was going like super narrow with my grip. Now I'm going
Yeah,
back to what I used to do. Like I've
yeah,
alternated it. I've always been kind of a wider squatter though. Even
yeah,
though in comparison, especially Kane, he like touches knees.
yeah.
He's he squats very narrow.
He does. And I used to be a lot more narrow than I
Yeah.
am now, but mine, I feel like I've widened a little bit and point my toes a little
Yeah.
outward, a little more than I used to now.
I just can't get in a good position if I'm super narrow. Like my
Yeah,
back around too much.
it doesn't feel good for me right now.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't.
You probably felt good just because you were used to doing it before, but now you've backed off and
I know, I
you
know.
you finding what's good.
Yeah,
As Peyton used to be super narrow, and then he switched to a wider one,
he
and
used to be
and,
like
well,
really close, like his feet.
and he was squatting like 450,
I know.
and now he can't squat
Back when he was on
anything.
steroids.
Yeah, back when the steroids were pumping through. Needs to get back on them.
I know. Doing all this
So
running.
yeah. Well, even before he was running, like he was struggling. Now he's running. So this, I don't know if you heard this. So I was in the gym one day, and I think it was Melanie Thomas. She asked me if Peyton, what Peyton was doing, if he was sick, and I was like, no, he's fine. He's just working night shift.
Yeah.
And then he posted a picture after one of his runs, and he looked super skinny. It was just like a bad angle and everything. And I commented on it, like, I was like, man, you are sick. And like he's been like he's this thing, he's just super skinny right now. I was like, bro,
Yeah.
you need to eat, especially with this marathon training. You're just
Oh
gonna be
man.
stick. Did you ever, like, when you were doing all that running, did you lose any weight?
Yeah, I lost some. Like, I don't know. I was probably, I think, which I've never been like super heavy. Like even before I started working out, I was never more than 180, 185, something like that. Uh, and then got in the gym, and within a few months, like I was down to like 155. So I cut a
Wow.
lot of weight at first. Like yeah, like it really,
You
dude.
had a
That
little
insane.
chunk on
That
you,
in
didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was no muscle and all chubby.
I was the
uh,
opposite. Well, I didn't have
yeah,
muscle or chub.
yeah. I was no muscle, but had all the chub. Uh, but yeah, so I was down to like 155, something like that. And then over the years, I've gotten up and would stay around 165 to 170, somewhere in there. So I was probably, I think back in January when I ran the race, I was around between 160 and 165, and I'm sitting at about 172, 173 most mornings now.
Did you feel like super lean
Uh,
when you were that light?
yeah, a lot more than now. Like I can, I can tell now that I have more on me and that it's
Yeah.
not all muscle either. That I'm not burning off everything I'm taking in anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, but uh, I'm okay with that while I've been going through this strength program.
Yeah.
But that'll be
More
over here
more
in
pounds on the
here in a
bar.
couple weeks. Yeah, uh, that'll be over here in a couple weeks, and I'll probably be going back to my FBA that I used to like doing a whole lot. So I may do a little bit of a cut then.
Yeah. I'm still debating on when I want to lose weight. I know I need to for the marathon because it's not going to be beneficial being the
Yeah.
heaviest I've ever been in running a marathon. I told Peyton and Trevor, I said, look, if y'all don't blow me out of the water and I'm sitting here 20, 30 pounds more than y'all did something wrong.
Dude, I
Because,
don't know, man. There's just something about running that far on the road that would
yeah.
just, for me, it would be all in my head, like trying
Well,
to.
that's what I wanted to ask, too. Have you ever done a road race?
Yeah, yeah. Like that race I ran in January, outside of Spartan races, is the only trail race I've ever done.
Yeah.
Every other race I've done has all been road races.
What if,
Which hadn't been a lot. I'm not,
yeah,
I wasn't,
like
some
20 of them,
super runner for yeah. Uh, I ran that Gateway to the Delta there in Batesville. I ran it 2 or 3 years in a row. I think
Was
three
that the
years in a
10
row.
miler?
Yeah, I ran the 10 miler each year, and then I ran the St. Jude half marathon one year. And outside of that, I think I might have done another 5K, something like that. But
Yeah.
other than that, dude, I've done Spartan races, quite a few of them, and then that one big trail race back in January.
Yeah, I think trail races, which the only trail run I've ever done is a Spartan race.
Yeah,
And it's different because you have a lot of resistance on your feet.
yeah,
But the like you can see stuff and like it goes by a lot quicker, I feel like. road running can get boring for sure.
Dude, I don't know how I ever ran on the road before after I started running trails a lot, like even just in my training. Like I like to go out like the hardest and stuff and run on those trails. Dude, it's way better than running on the road. I like the trails, I like the hills,
Yeah.
and you can run slow and nobody makes fun of you because you just blame it on the hills.
Yeah, it's just the hills. You gotta watch out for the tree roots.
Yeah.
You gotta watch your step. Yeah, you think about like the people running these ultra marathons, they're running like 13-minute miles at best,
Yeah.
But these people
Yeah.
when they're
And
fresh,
nobody makes fun of them.
yeah, they can run like sub 6, but like 13 minutes on a 250-mile trail run. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Dude, there's still some dudes that can really get it,
Yeah,
even on hills, elevation, like some of them dudes in some of them Spartan races, they kill it.
they're
Like
nuts, bro.
when you take in account for the all the obstacles they have to do on top of the hills and stuff too, and how fast they're still completing the miles, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts. I learned the hard way. Like those obstacles, they're a lot harder than they look.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like from the
Like
first
they're
one, like the monkey bars or whatever. I was like, oh, yeah, Peyton just flew across it, and it's,
yeah,
my first time ever touching the obstacle.
yeah,
I was like, okay, this is how this is gonna go.
yeah. Like I've failed a few obstacles. I think only on one of my Spartan races uh, that I failed. I think two obstacles outside of the spear throw.
Yeah,
Now, I think everybody will miss the spear throw at least once in their lifetime, and
but they might
and
make it
I,
once in their lifetime.
oh yeah, for some people, yeah, uh, but yeah, I remember in Atlanta, I went down there in Atlanta a few years ago and ran with Matt Robertson, met up with him, and we ran together the super. It was my first super. I think everything up to that point, Spartan wise, I had all been the sprints. Uh, and there was the Hercules hoist where you pull the sandbags with the rope, you pull the sandbags up to the top,
Yeah,
and and then let them back down. So they had that, and then the twister bar, which is the one that it's kind of like the monkey bars, but the
yeah, they
bar
rotate.
rolls every time every time you go to the next one, it rotates.
Yeah,
Had them two right behind each other. Now, just depending on the course and how many people have been out there and what they've done to that Hercules hoist before you, as to if it's going to be easy or hard. Well, that day the bags were already soaking wet and the ropes were full of mud. So trying to get one of those bags to the top took everything I had in me. Like I killed myself because I wouldn't let it back down. I was like, no, I'm not failing this. Finally got it up, let the thing down, and when I looked up and I saw that twist there, I was like, oh dude, I'm fixing to die. So I do my little jog over there, rest for a minute, and I hop up here and try to do it. Didn't make it. Dude, it killed me trying to pull that bag up to the top. But then some races you go to and it goes right up easy. If the rope's dry, not muddy, bags aren't soaking wet, twice as heavy as they normally are, it's not too bad. But that day it was bad.
yeah. I didn't think I had that much trouble with the Hercules, but I did on the twister bar. Like I think I tried those twice and failed at both. Like I almost
Yeah.
got it and I slipped.
Yeah.
The rope climb,
It's
man, it's so skinny. Like,
oh yeah.
and then if it's covered in mud, you're just slipping the whole time. I was
Yep.
up there on the
Yep.
top for like a solid minute because I couldn't get my grip. I was like right here, and my hand was in the wrong position, and like I was slipping, and I was trying to get my feet.
Yeah.
Peyton was just sitting there yelling at me. I'm like, I'm gonna die.
You're either
It
gonna
was
die or
so
get
cold that weekend.
severe rope burn.
Yeah, and then I got done and like I was like, are my hands ripped open? Like, because
Yeah.
it felt like all the skin had come off my hands, but just rope burn.
Yeah, y'all got messed up on that weekend. Y'all
Bro, it
caught like
was
a cold front or something to come
it's
through.
like 20 degrees and it had been raining, and just to start the race to get to the starting line, they had a barbed wire crawl.
Yeah.
I mean swim.
Yeah. I remember Atlanta's barbed wire. I remember I couldn't imagine doing that 20 something degrees.
Bro, it was fun though. I had a great time.
I think I don't know if they're doing it this year, but I know last year they had Atlanta twice in the same year. So they had it in the spring and then in the fall. So the one I ran was in the fall. It was in October. So I don't know if they're still doing it twice in the same year or not, but they did.
I'm thinking
We
about
went
running
to.
that Grace Place 5. I think it's the
Oh
Grace
yeah,
Place's
yeah. I saw
5K.
that.
It's
Saw
the
that.
week before my marathon. So
That'd be an easy
I
little,
probably just run 7 miles
little,
after.
yeah, a little something fun to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing it. I mean, it's just a
Do it.
5K. I feel like
Yeah, you can do that.
I can, I can put out a 5K and maybe not die.
What's your fastest 5K?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I'd have to look back on my Garmin to even see that, to even know. Probably.
We have time.
Let me look.
Do you ever look at the race predictor? You don't do much running right now, though.
Uh, no, not really. I've seen it, but I hadn't.
Well, mine is way off. The more distance it goes, okay, it's getting more realistic. It's adding time to it. So this is what mine says I could run right now. 5K, 23:40. I think my PR is 24:11. 10K, 49:07. I've run a 54 or something. Which those aren't too bad, but you start adding, doubling the mileage. It says I could run a
Yeah,
half marathon in an hour 48 and a marathon in 3 hours and 45 minutes, which I highly doubt all
dude.
of those.
So mine says my fastest 5K was 23:46, and that was in 2019.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember running with the people at the gym, and we were all just cruising, and I was feeling really good, and I'm just kind of right there with you. And at the last like half mile, you disappeared. You like smoked me. But
Yeah.
it's crazy because it seems like you're so far ahead, but it's probably only
Yeah.
like 20 seconds,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so I was looking at the activity that that fastest 5K time was during one of the 10 milers I ran. I think that was the last
Wow.
gateway to the Delta 10 miler.
Race day.
Yeah, I
Do
remember that
you think
too.
you
That
blew up
was
after that?
I remember blowing up during that
Yeah.
because when I started, I was feeling really good, and that first stretch of that race is just flat and straight.
Yeah.
And I remember I was running, feeling really good, hanging with all the front runners. And I remember, I don't remember all the exact details of my goal, but I remember I had a goal. And I remember when we hit that first mile and I looked down, I saw the time. I was like, oh no, this is fixing to go bad because I was not expecting to have been running that fast. Yeah. My first mile was 7:08 in a 10
Wow.
miler. Yeah.
I mean, I would be
And
blown up.
so that's fast for me.
Put this into
That's not a
perspective.
normal.
I ran a mile for time like last week, and it was 7:02. So that would be like mile pace for me, and then I have to lay down for 10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
I
So
could
that was
maybe jog the rest.
That was mile one of 10 miles. But I did finish with an average pace of 8:03.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a really good.
that was
That's a
my
really
best
good.
year. Uh, I placed first in my age group that year.
Wow. That's really. I
So
couldn't do that.
I did well. And really, man, this past year, you know, I started running again probably, I don't know, around September, October last year because I wanted to run this. We had Spartan race coming up, uh, and we had Spartan race, and then I had that trail race that I wanted to run too. So I started running. I don't remember if it may have been earlier than September of last year. But anyways, through this last season of my running career, uh, my running felt the best that it had been. You know, back then, I remember I used to always like hurt, always dealing with shin splints. But that was back when I was doing CrossFit all the time too.
Yeah.
Like, and
Trying to do double
I'm
unders.
not, I'm not
Rage quitting.
exactly. Oh my goodness, dude. If I tried to run and do dubs at the same time in the same wad, like I was not walking the rest of the week. Like my shins blew up.
Yeah, I
It
had a
just killed
season where
me.
that was me for a season too.
Or even box jumps and dubs, like anything that had double unders and had any other explosive movement that had anything to do with my calves, I
It's
was
over.
done. Uh, but yeah, I felt the best during this past, you know, season of me running. But I think it was just because I was just going in and lifting. And even then, I wasn't really lifting heavy. I was doing the FBA cycle then. Uh, so it wasn't focused on heavy weights, wasn't really strength focused as much. And there's a lot of unilateral movements in there, which really helps with flexibility and loosening up muscles, really works on smaller muscle groups. Uh, and it really helped, I think, as far as my ability to run and not hurt, not be injured while trying to run. Not anything against CrossFit. I think CrossFit's great for those who can discipline themselves. My problem with CrossFit is I don't have enough discipline. Like
You're
when
just gonna smash your head into the wall.
when I go, like we're like going hard every day and
Yeah.
working out with the same guys. We're like always competing against each other. So it's like every day we feel like we're we're walking into the CrossFit games or something, you know, giving it everything we got. And shoulder always tore up from trying to do something stupid on snatches or muscle ups or something, and always trying to lift heavy. And dude, it was just killing me. Wasn't getting enough sleep. My sleeping was terrible.
We need to get you back running because I need some running partners.
I could, dude. I really don't mind running. Like I really could get back to doing some running. I just can't. I don't know if I can dedicate so much time of it that I would feel,
Yeah.
you know, ready for a marathon, especially on a road. Oh my goodness, that
Yeah.
just sounds
That's
terrible.
a lot of. I mean, I did that marathon last year, and then I took a little bit of a break and did just CrossFit stuff, which I did. I did like some maintenance running, like very low volume, and
Yeah,
then I did a 10K, and then I took like a month off after the 10K.
yeah,
But I mean, you're not gonna lose that much fitness
no,
that quick. So I mean, I've been constantly running, so I've been kind of building up to this.
yeah.
But I'm gonna keep running after too, but definitely not preparing for a marathon. I think I'm gonna keep it down to some half marathons for a while. I say that, but I'll probably end up doing a marathon next year.
Yeah.
Just
The
for
problem around here is,
there's nowhere to run
yeah, like,
for a long way.
yeah. And that was part of my thing. Like, I
Nowhere
enjoy the
safe to
running
run.
and, yeah, I enjoy the running. Like, I liked going in the mornings. doing a little bit of lifting, and then going and hitting a run. We could go make our loop out there by the gym.
Yeah.
30-40 minutes. But then I started getting into longer lifting sessions, so it started taking away from my time that I was able to really do that before I even get ready for work and all that. And then I was like, well, I don't want to miss any days, because I was starting to see some gains, in the strength. So then I started, putting off even getting away from some days where I would just go in and lift for, maybe 30 minutes and then go run. I was like, no, I'm not going to give all that up. So then I was like you. When I finished the race, I was like, I'm going to give it a few weeks and I'll get back to running. Yeah, I never got back to running. It just never happened.
Well, that's why I run races, just so I could.
I know.
If I didn't have this marathon, I probably wouldn't be running at all.
That's me.
Because I would be so concentrated on the strength gains that I'm getting. Like,
if I don't have a goal in mind, my motivation leaves me.
Yeah, me too. I just won't have a focus. Like I'll be doing whatever.
I mean, if I just had the time, if I wasn't married with 4 kids and one on the way, I wouldn't mind going and lifting in the mornings and going and running in the evenings or something.
Yeah.
I could do that and would enjoy it, but it just, you got to make sacrifices somewhere in your family. Your family's not who you sacrifice.
That's right. I was doing like a couple, which my schedule was very sporadic during the last marathon, just because you just have a baby. It's like, there is no schedule. It's just like get it in when it fits in, basically.
Yeah.
And I was doing like stroller runs with the older son, and I was just, man, it was wild. But I haven't really done anything at night. I ran like last night with Peyton, just because I wanted to get it in anyway.
Yeah, I saw y'all's run on.
I didn't even go in the morning, so it really it worked out though.
I was wondering how he got 9 and you got 7. I thought somebody's watches was off, but then I noticed
that's happened to us before. Yeah, I met him at the cross.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he started running. Like, he wanted me to go run with him, and then I told him no. And then like 2 minutes later, I was like, "Wait for me." And he's like, "I already started." So I drove over there and caught up to him, and I ran 7 miles, and he ended up running 9.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Yeah. It felt good. But the best run for me, you can't look at the pace because that'll make it worse. But if you just like an easy run, man. If it's a long run, it's got to be an easy run.
Yeah.
Because then you could just cruise, man. It feels good. But if you look at the pace, you're like gonna be like, man, I gotta hurry up, man. I'm going so slow. But that's how you get back. That's what everybody preaches is the easy runs.
Yeah. I mean, at least for me, and when I was training, like there were days where I wouldn't let myself look at my watch. Like,
right.
It was just
That's smart.
You run by feel. Don't look at the watch. You run because I knew where I was running at. I knew how far, where to run to, and I would get the mileage I was looking for. Whether I was on the trails out at Sardis or we was running out there at the gym, I knew how many loops of what or where to run to and back, and I would have the miles I was looking for. So on those days, I knew, don't look at your watch, just run by feel. And most of the time they still end up being pretty good runs, but then there's days where you want to push it, so then you're watching your watch every mile. So yeah, you got to mix it up, but there were some hard runs and then some not so hard ones.
Yeah.
The feel good runs.
That's right. So Roger says that he took first place in his age bracket the same race day, but he ran the 5K, and he was the only one that ran the race, the 5K in his age bracket. So it's genetics.
Yeah. And I think so. I think Jordan ran that same day, and I think he placed in his age group too. I can't remember. That may have been the first year we ran it actually. So I think it was. So the first year, that wasn't 2019,
When
but
do
the
they usually
first
hold
year
that race?
in November.
Okay.
They do it in November every year. Uh, Usually, always like the weekend of hunting season. Usually is when they always open it up. It always lands right when hunting season about to open. Anyways, the I think the first year we ran and we all ran it together. My mom and my dad both ran, and Jordan. They all ran the 5K, and I ran the 10 miler like a dummy. Had a bummed ankle and everything, and ran the 10 miler. I placed third in my age group. I think I think my dad placed first in his age group, and Jordan placed in his age group. I can't remember if my mom did or not. I don't remember. I think she ran.
He said that. I guess he's talking about that one year that Dana took first.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's what I
all
thought.
placed either first or second.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
They should
I
name it the
remember
Howell Delta or what? Howell Gateway Run.
that. Yeah.
I think I might do that this year. I've never run that one, but I've seen the markings every year when they mark the
Yeah,
road. When I used
it's
to work for the
fun.
city, I kind of follow it and just to kind of see where it was.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I think
fun.
I
It's
might
usually the
do it.
same.
I'll be ready
Yeah,
to roll in November.
yeah. I ran it for like I don't know. I think three or four straight years in a row. Ran the 10 miler each year. It's fun.
Last
It's
year
usually
was like the first year I really got into running because I never done more than 7 miles. I think 7 miles was my first like longer run last year, maybe
yeah.
6. It was
That's
like
fair.
now
Hey, for
I'm out here
for
running crazy.
for a lot of people,
That's a long
that's
way.
yeah, it's a long
Like
way.
people think, oh man, you're crazy running 7 miles, and then here I am running a marathon.
Then you got some of these guys out there like they
What's a
running
marathon, man?
they running half marathons every day.
Yeah,
Like
or marathons.
yeah,
It's crazy. It's all like relative to you got to progress slowly but surely.
yeah,
Even with what you were talking about, like injuries and stuff. Like I used to have certain stuff like bother me, and then now I guess you just got to build up those muscles. You got to build up the
yeah,
resilience
yeah.
and just
Well,
take your
and it
time.
takes yeah, that's it. Like you got to be smart about your training. Like, and that was my problem. Like I wasn't. Like I
Yeah,
was just my my perspective for those first couple of years, especially when I first got into CrossFit, was like I had to be there every day, going as hard as I could, lifting as heavy as I could. And dude, it doesn't work. Like you got to
it'll
have
work for a
rest.
minute,
You need it will. I mean, yeah,
and
like
then
you get those newbie gains quick, but then all of a sudden reality sets in your body just like you overload it too much for too
yeah,
long. Uh and you're gonna start hurting and like I wasn't resting well, wasn't recovering well. And I was just doing too much and expecting too much out of my body for what I was giving it or not giving it.
yeah. I always see it kind of like this, or this has been my experience. Like you can kind of push, and then you get into that area where you're getting like the injuries
Yeah,
or whatever, then you go back
yeah,
down. But then you start at a higher level when you're going back up.
yeah,
So it takes
yeah,
longer and more stress to get back to that point. But you really got to like stop right before you get to that point and then kind of bring it back. You can't like just max it out, you know,
uh-uh, no,
constantly.
no.
So
If you do, you'll pay for it at some
yeah.
point. It'll catch up.
Well, it only worked for so long, and then
Yeah, yeah,
you're going backwards.
yeah,
So that's kind of like how I like to do my year. Like right now, I'm just worried about strength in the marathon, and like just during like January, February, March, I was just doing only CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any problems this time around, I have like this injury though, like on my shoulder blades, which it doesn't affect anything except like when I like pinch my shoulder blades together.
Yeah.
I've had it for like 9 months. It bothers me, but it doesn't affect my workouts. But other than that, I haven't.
Was it like a pinch?
I don't even know
or
what it
just
is.
or
It's
a
just
lack
super
of
tender.
mobility, like won't even let you?
It's just tender.
Oh, okay.
Constantly sore.
Probably snatches. I blame everything shoulder related on snatches.
And that's it. Yeah, that's yeah. You say that you probably. I've been hammering the snatch. Well, I haven't in a few weeks, but I've been hammering the snatches, and it wasn't bothering me at all.
Yeah.
That's what I think. It's just about building like the resiliency up.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. Maybe because I think I did have a period of time where snatches were like hurting me, but maybe my form was just bad. I don't know. Because it's like now I can snatch and I won't feel it at all. Like,
yeah.
And then I could just back squat heavy after.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't done a snatch in, oh man, quite a while.
I noticed yesterday that I hadn't.
It's been over a year.
It's been over like a week and a half. But I was doing it like every chance I could get, I was snatching, and I made a big improvement.
Yeah.
But now I haven't done it in like a week and a half, and now I'm kind of worried that I don't even know how to snatch anymore. It's definitely a skill.
That's one of those movements. Like if you don't do it all the time,
yeah,
your brain forgets.
Yeah, it's kind of like the muscle ups because I had learned bar muscle ups. They're very, very ugly though, but I had learned how to do them. And then the open came around, and I completely forgot how to do them a month ahead of time. Like my body forgot. Like my mind was doing the same thing.
I know.
And then my buddy Carson, he sent me a video of him doing muscle ups one day, and I was like, "No way, this dude's about to be doing muscle ups, and I'm not." So I have a pull up bar out here in my yard, and for that whole week, I worked on it and finally was able to figure it out. I still have days where I get up there and I cannot figure it out. I really think it's just fatigue, though. But it's just things are just it's just about that muscle memory and skill.
I think yesterday morning after me and my buddy got done doing some lifting, we went in there, was messing around on the rig. We did a few sets of some chin ups and some I think they call the Lee Priest tricep extensions, one of my favorite tricep movements. But we were doing a few rounds of those, and then we got done, and we were talking about something. For some reason, muscle ups come up. I was like, you know what? I said, I'll fix and see if I can still do one. So jump up there and did a few, and I was surprised. I actually still could knock them out. About tore my hand open, though. My hands wasn't used to it. But
Every time I get to do them, I'm like nervous. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do it, And then I've actually been doing like skill work, so trying to work on my form because I chicken wing a lot. So I'm trying to fix that, but I always surprise myself.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that what? Go ahead.
I was just we were talking about the muscle ups. Talking about if you ever tried the ring muscle up, like that was. I remember we tried those. Finally got to where I could do one or two. And you were talking about earlier about how your brain just forgets. I remember one day getting up there, like I had finally gotten up there on some muscle ups on the rings. Finally got to where I could do a few. And then one day I remember jumping up there, and I remember I started kipping, getting ready to throw myself up there. Dude, my brain lost it. Like I couldn't remember when I was supposed to kip to the top. I was like, I'm like up there swinging back and forth. I'm like, I don't remember how to get up there. Like I completely lost. I
Man.
don't know. It's
And
so
it's
weird.
different from bar muscle ups, just like
Oh, dude, it's
the
so
timing and
different.
all that. I
Yeah,
did one. It was during the open, not during the workout, but like after one of the workouts, I
yeah.
did one, and then I hadn't done one since. I've been trying, but it's not.
If
It
you're not,
hurts so bad, bro. Like I
let's
used
say if you're
every
not
bit of my
careful,
strength.
you can really mess that shoulder up.
Yeah, I got close the other day. Like I've just been doing the skill work. The program I follow, they give a lot of skill work
Okay.
for people that don't have. They call it got none. Like you got
Uh-huh.
none, no muscle
Yeah,
ups. You can
yeah.
do those, and then they have a progression for people that got some. So
Gotcha, gotcha.
I got none, but I'm close. I'm still just
Yeah,
building the foundations. I'll probably worry more about that closer to the open, but
yeah. I miss the
they
workouts, man. I do.
yeah, it feels good when you hit stuff like that though.
Yeah,
You feel good about yourself,
yeah.
and when you feel terrible about yourself when you can't you can't do it. Like, man, I'm just how are all these
I
people doing
know.
this? It's so hard.
I
Like
know.
my body just doesn't work.
Dude, I
It's
watch
it's
some of
not
these
like your
guys on,
cardio. Like you got the strength. You know you got the strength. You know you
yeah,
got the cardio to do it. Like there's almost no cardio to it,
it's
and then you still can't do it. And you're just
it's
like,
just
man, am I
the
just
skill.
dumb?
It's
Yeah.
just the skill, man. It takes
And then
it just takes so
you have some
much.
people that don't even try hard and they'll just do it.
Yeah, I know.
It's I don't man. I'm definitely not a genetically gifted, like super genetically gifted. Like
I'm
I've
not
worked
either.
for
Not
every bit of gains I've had.
especially when it comes to strength. Like, dude,
Yeah,
I'm not built for it, but it's what I like.
yeah,
I was I liked the endurance stuff, like with CrossFit and then running and stuff. Like I felt like I was better at that, but I don't know. Like I keep coming back to lifting. I enjoy it. I like it.
yeah,
I think I think a lot of mine is probably my diet, like not feeding myself enough to give my body really, what it really needs to really build.
yeah,
Uh, I struggle with that. I struggle with trying to eat enough to get, to really let the body bulk,
yeah.
when I'm trying to. Uh,
You gotta eat.
I know, and dude, like you'd think that would be easy, but it's not.
Yeah, you.
I don't know.
It's nowhere
It's
near as easy as you think it is.
no,
Especially coming from I was like 150 pounds when I started, and
yeah,
it's not easy, bro. I had to like force feed myself.
yeah. I mean, I can, I could put on, you know, 10 pounds in a couple months, but doing it the right way with the right food, that's,
Yeah,
that's the hard part, but, you know, I could do it with a bunch of protein shakes and a bunch of pastas and all those things, which, hey, I mean, they get the job done. They get
yeah,
some weight on you, get some size on you. Uh, but man, some of these guys who just eat 2 to 3 pounds of meat every day and then just adding in whatever else they got to meet their calories and their carbs and everything. Dude, it's work. Like even eating is working for for
yeah.
people.
You see the strong men, like that's if
Oh,
they're
dude,
they're just eating all day. By the time they're done with their first meal, they're working on the second.
I know it's crazy.
It's
Constantly.
nuts. So what do you think? Going back to like you're better at the endurance stuff, but you'd rather do something you're not as good at. And then in the beginning, when you first started, you ran and you were throwing up, but you came back and it was hard. And then you came to the gym and it was the same
Yeah.
thing. And CrossFit's you did Murph and it sucked. But you loved it and you came back. What do you think it is? This is like just something why do people come back to that? Like their first time doing CrossFit or going to the gym, it's like they're sore for 2 weeks
I
and
know.
they hate it, but they're back.
Yeah. I don't know. Like,
Even with like the
I don't,
running,
I don't,
like I hate
I
it,
don't know if it,
but here I am.
I know. Like, I don't know if it's, I guess everybody's wired different, but I mean, like for me, it was just I don't know how I ended up enjoying it like so much. When I first started, I was just, I mean, dying, throwing up, everything. But then I remember, I remember the first time I did Insanity, I threw up. I mean, I don't know, but the more I did it, the better I got, and I don't know. There's just something about the challenge that I like, and the constant. I guess for me, even now with my strength training, I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm still chasing after it because that's what it's one of the harder things for me to get better at.
Yeah.
So it's just something where when I have a goal or a challenge, I enjoy chasing after it. Uh, with CrossFit, it was that was the that was the thing with CrossFit, I guess, for me. And the addictive part was the competitiveness, because there's always, three, four, sometimes more of us in there at the same time every morning doing the same workout. So we were always, just giving it all we had, like, and it was fun. We enjoyed it. It's like going out and playing ball with the guys. You just out there doing what you love and
Yeah.
enjoy. And but when you you don't do it right for so long, eventually you have
Yeah.
no choice but to at least back up a little bit, and regroup. Uh, but I feel like I could do it now and probably do it smarter and better. Maybe have a little more discipline. Uh, the problem now is I'd be in the same boat as I am with my running. Like I don't want to give up any of my lifting time to
Right.
to go in there and throw some wall balls and dumbbells around or monkeying around on the bars.
Yeah.
Even though I really enjoy the stuff, it's fun. I like it. I like the pump, the intensiveness of it. But
Yeah, that's my problem too because I like all of that, and
yeah,
it's hard for me to pick and choose. Which the CrossFit's gonna take the first, just because it's just so hard, and
I
it's
know
it
it
sucks
is.
so much. So it's like obviously I'm gonna if I had to choose between a 5 mile run, squatting heavy, or doing a CrossFit workout, or if I had to choose two, CrossFit's probably getting cut just because.
Uh, it's all
But
about, I guess, whatever your goals are and
yeah,
what you just really enjoy. Like some people like to run because that's their escape. Like they get out there and just run, and that's where they can clear their mind, and that's their happy place.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, for me, it wasn't as much of that. I mean, I did enjoy it when I was out there and running, but for me, it wasn't as much about the escape. It was just the chasing a goal. I
yeah,
had goals. I had something in mind that I was trying to work for, or something I was trying to meet. Uh, so that's what always drives me when it comes to things like running. Now, CrossFit, there was never really, I knew I was never going to be any type of a competitor.
yeah,
Never had that goal, but just, I mean, because there for the longest time, we would use a program or something that you would keep track of all your workouts, all your times, things like lifts and everything. So you're constantly just competing even against yourself. You have hero wads that we would do every year, different ones. So you're always trying to beat your old time or beat your old weight, something or another like that. So there was always something to strive for, even
Right.
inside CrossFit.
That's kind of how I operate too. I always have a goal, which
Yeah.
is why even though I don't, I hate it, right now just because I'm out of shape. I hate CrossFit, but like during the CrossFit season for me, like it's fine because I have a goal and I
Yeah.
will get in shape and I'll end up liking it.
Yeah.
But I had a question. I think I forgot what it was. Uh, oh yeah, it might be what is fitness to you? Like, why do you do fitness? Besides, you got your progress, but why do you want the progress? Why do you want to be stronger, have more muscle, be in better shape?
Man, I don't know. Like, it's just, I guess it's hard to put into words, I guess, as to why
Yeah.
I like it so much. I think some of it is the community, especially like when I was doing the CrossFit, and, there were times where we had a big group of people at the gym that were, always working out together and stuff. Uh, so there for a while, it was like just a big community. And that was part of it, probably. Constantly have people driving you and holding you accountable, encouraging you. Uh, because if honestly, if I had started this back in 2016 and have tried to do all this on my own at home this whole time, I probably still wouldn't be working out. But driving to the gym every day, having somebody that I train with every day, uh, those things for me, it keeps me pushing and driving. I've gone through some seasons where, I did some lifting and stuff by myself, but still seeing the guys every day at the gym, but we just had different goals and just in a different season. So I might be lifting while y'all or Kane and them, all them may be out running or doing a wad, something like that, but I was lifting, or maybe I was out running during a season of it, and everybody's lifting or doing So there's been seasons where I've been kind of out on my own with some of it, but I don't know. There's just something about the once I got into it, just the lifting, and just that drive you get of constantly pushing, and I don't know, man. There's just something about it I just enjoy and I like. I don't think I could
Yeah.
walk away from it now.
It's here.
Even if I had to do it at home now, I think I could do it and stick with it.
Yeah.
Uh, just because it's in me now.
It's ingrained as a habit.
Yeah, and I like it. Like
Do you ever
I can.
find yourself like you miss a day or
I
a
was
few
just gonna
days?
say
Like,
that if I go more than probably 2 days without going to the gym, like my body does not do well. It's weird. You would think it'd be the opposite, but I start aching when I don't go to the gym. Like my
wow.
lower back and stuff, it bothers me. And I guess it's just because I'm not using the mobility, not stretching the muscles and the joints and using them. And dude, like if I miss 2 or 3 days at the gym, like you can ask my wife, like I'll start whining, like my back's bothering me, like what's going on? You think your body would enjoy the rest and not doing anything, but for me, it's the opposite. Uh, it's like sitting in a car for 12 hours.
Yeah.
How tight and just irritated your body feels. That's how it feels to me after missing a couple days. I don't like it. I don't like
Yeah.
missing more than if I miss more than 2 days, I'm not feeling good.
Yeah. Even just mentally for me, it just
Oh yeah,
I feel like,
that too.
man, because I always have like something I'm going for.
Yeah.
And like I'm always on a certain progression. I feel like, man, if
Yep.
I'm gonna mess it all up if I miss,
Exactly, dude. Like it can become a little obsessive, you know. You
Yeah,
have to have a little you have to have a little bit of some self-discipline in that, not to be too
too obsessive.
compulsive. Yeah, all
You,
that about it.
well, you got Peyton, who I say he's OCD. He doesn't have any problem with missing just a couple days.
I know. That's because he can miss and then walk in there and squat 400 something pounds
He used to could.
and then
I don't know
go
what's
run
going
10
on.
miles and
All of it.
old
Cross do
Superman.
Murph. So Big Bubba Buford says, "What time we going to the gym tomorrow?" Bubba, I'll see you there. We'll meet up at the gym at 6 a.m.
Uh,
So Big Bubba Buford's actually my stepdad.
ah,
But so like when Jarvis was on, he said something about benching 225, and we worked together. So I challenged him to. I told him I didn't think he could bench press 225, but he weighs like 300 pounds, so he could probably get it. But
dude, I remember when I first started at the gym, like it was in them early days when I was still, no muscle, all chub.
yeah,
Dude, I couldn't bench nothing. Like I remember my buddy Cody being there with me. Him and Matt were both there, and we were just out there doing some stuff on the weights. And I remember them putting 95 pounds on the bar, just putting a 25 on each side. And I was like, oh, like struggling. It's pretty crazy to think back about how far you come over
yeah.
the years.
You get to like a certain weight, and you're like, man, I don't see if I'll ever lift more than that.
Yeah.
And then like 6 months later, you're lifting more. You're lifting that
I
same
know.
weight so easy.
I
I
guess
don't.
that's why it's so addicting. Like,
Yeah, progress.
yeah.
And then by the time the progress is hard. You've put so much into it. You're addicted to it, and now it's just part of who you are.
Yep.
I was at like I I feel like I didn't hit like 225 for like almost a year. I don't even know because I never max out bench. You've always been there when I do it, apparently.
Your motivator.
Yeah. So I maxed out with you that one time. Well, you were spotting me, and I hit 275.
Yeah.
Well, I hit 275 5 times the other day. Not for
Oh
like a
my
set,
goodness.
but like 5 singles.
Yeah.
And it felt pretty easy.
That's crazy.
And then I didn't think, 225, I was working with that forever.
Yeah.
And then I hit like 240, and I'm like, hey, that felt good.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Just slowly work your way up. But
Yeah. Dude, it took me years. Like, it took me years before I ever could bench 225.
yeah.
I mean, which bench is my worst lift, outside of all those dumb lifts like snatches. But as far as the core lifts, the ones everybody does, bench has always been my struggle. And it took me a long
What
time
what
to
did
get
you
there.
what did you hit on like strict press, like an overhead press?
I think the most I've ever done on strict press was only like 145, maybe,
Yeah.
which I can't, I think, man, I don't remember the last time I even tried like a max. Like I usually do strict press like once a week right now. In this cycle I've been doing right now, I've been doing strict presses like once a week, but nothing more than like 80% most of the time.
Yeah, it sucks.
But
It's so
yeah,
light.
they are strict press are terrible. But it's crazy. You go from strict press and then do some push presses or something. You just add a little bit of leg drive to
so
it, and
much.
dude, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm the Hulk.
Yeah. Man, it feels good throwing weight around though.
I know it does. It's so fun.
All right, man. Been almost an hour and a half. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. If there's anything you could tell the people before we leave, just one last, whatever you want to call it, conclusion. I don't know. I guess you could call it a conclusion. That's what's at the end, right?
Yeah.
One last statement, one last piece of whatever you want to say. Well, first off, I want to say this. What's one goal you're working towards right now? And then you can go into the other part. One last thing you want. Free reign, say what you could. I don't, uncensored.
Gotcha.
We're not. No holdbacks is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Goal that I'm shooting for right now, my main goal for the last several months right now, physically in the gym training, has just been trying to gain strength, like just strength training. Like I've been trying to go after numbers. But
you hit a deadlift recently, didn't you?
Yeah. In the last cycle that I did of this this program I'm doing right now, I hit a pretty good deadlift PR. I had never been able to. I think my previous max was like 390. I think like I hit 390 and could put 400 on there or 405 and couldn't get it off the floor. Like it was always a struggle. Like never could get 400 off the floor. And but I did that this previous cycle I did. I don't know, man. My deadlifts just come together, and I think I climbed up and hit like 385. Felt really good. Put 405 on there, and I was just like, my goal was 405. Like that's been my goal for years. Like just to get a 405 deadlift, and threw it on there. Just like a hope I can get this. And dude, it went up. Felt really good, and I was really surprised. So threw 10 more pounds on there, hit 415. I was like, I really think I got more. Put 10 more pounds on there, and ended up with 425. And so it was a 35-pound PR.
Wow.
And I don't know, man. I don't know what made it all come together, but these last few months, like I said, my squat, which used to be my best and most comfortable lift, hasn't been feeling as comfortable and great lately. But my deadlifts all of a sudden now feel great, and everything feels like it's come together with that. So yeah, that's my goal right now. Getting stronger. And I may be swapping it up soon, trying to lean out a little bit, see what happens. But there's a baby on the way, so anything can change.
That's right. You never know.
But yeah, I've enjoyed this. It's been fun.
Sweet.
Too bad Peyton's all sleeping on us
and stuff.
I know, man. He's resting up for church in the morning. That's what it is.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah. See, me and him, not only do we work together at church, we both are on the worship team at our church, but we also work together, during the week at our job. Well, we used to. Now he works nights and I work days, but we are co-workers all week long. We work together every day of the week for the same company, and then on the weekends we serving Jesus.
I'm still wondering why his last name's not Howell.
I don't know. He's been around long enough. He ought to be.
I'll just change it up.
I remember him, man, dude, he started coming to our church when he was, I don't know, probably 9 or 10, something like that. And then
Wow.
I was his youth leader growing up, like from the time he started in the youth group until he graduated high school. I was his youth leader there at our church.
It's crazy.
It's been a fun road with him.
Yeah.
Get to see him grow up, not only spiritually but now even physically. Now he outdoes me in that.
What is your role at the church?
Well, I serve on our worship team. So my mom is the worship leader, and so I play acoustic guitar and sing. Um, for years, me and my wife were the youth leaders. We led our youth group, but recently we've had a little bit of change, like with our areas in the church with the ministries and ages, and we actually, man, we had gotten there for, I don't know, probably a year, where all of our, like, we had at one time a youth group that was just like, we had 15 to 20 youth at one time, and then they all grew up and graduated, and then all the rest of the kids that were left were all like my kids and the people my age who had kids, so they're all young. And so there for a while we really didn't have any youth aged kids. Now we still had the younger children, and now we're getting some of our kids now that are uh, in that preteen age. So we're fixing to start having, we're starting to get a youth group again. But I'm also, sorry, I can get off track sometimes.
Howell.
I know, man. We see a squirrel and we are gone. Uh, but I am the minister of education at our church. So I lead the area of ministries of education. So our children's church on Sundays. Uh, I just I help facilitate and line up our teachers, equip them, um, help them whatever their needs are to meet the needs of our kids and the nursery. And then on Wednesday nights, we have a couple now that's taken everything from the preteens that we have and all the way down to the little ones. They take them now, and anything they need, it's just it takes a team. So we all have our roles that we play at the church, but uh, mine right now is I help with the education area wherever that fits in, just however somebody needs help, whatever area it is. Small groups. We've done small groups and life groups. We even had some at the gym before. So all those areas kind of fall under me, but not that I'm in control of all of them, but I try to help equip all those people uh, so that they can minister to the ones they're hoping to reach out to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up then. That's pretty cool though, especially how far y'all go. You and Peyton go back. Hate that he's not
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I know.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. You have anything else to say? Anything you want to tell anybody?
I don't guess, man. If it's never a bad time to start in anything in life, whether
That's
that's
right.
the getting in the gym, getting fit, or coming to know Christ, getting in church, or building a relationship, whichever one it may be. There's never a wrong time.
That's
You're
right.
never too far out of shape. You're never too bad, too far gone for Jesus.
Amen. All right, man. I really enjoyed this. I was
Me
kind of,
too. Had fun.
I was kind of worried I would be able to even keep us talking because usually it's two of us talking to people. But
I know.
You know, I'm pretty sure this is my first solo. Well, you know, I'm not solo, but one-on-one.
We're both so quiet.
Yeah. We made it happen, man. That's crazy.
When we see each other every day at the gym, but
just nod.
Yeah. What's up, dude?
Yeah. The camera will bring it out, man. It's nobody here but you and the camera, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging in there, sticking with it. Where can we find you? Can we find you anywhere? Just at the gym and church?
Yeah, at the gym, at church. I mean, I have Facebook, but I don't put nothing on there.
Yeah. Jonathan Howell.
There ain't nothing to see. Yeah.
So
you can keep up with how many kids I have if you want to keep up with that.
Yeah. You're at 4 plus 1.
Yeah. Every couple of years we get a new one, seems like.
You're getting into deep waters now.
I know. We got another girl on the way.
How many you got now?
So we have 3 girls, and then our youngest is a boy. But now,
man,
our newest one on the way is another girl.
You got a mess.
I know. A lot to look forward to.
Yep. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all sticking in there. Give us a follow. Put Work In Podcast. Dill the Young, Peyton. I don't even know what his is. I mean, he's not here to tell it. But we're thinking about getting some merch. If y'all be interested in that, let us know. Put down in there in the comments if you enjoyed this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Send some more guests our way. We'll interview the whole town, the whole county, the whole state. Everybody is interested, man.
Yeah. Hey, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Especially right now when y'all getting ready to run, y'all got to get up with Gavin May.
Gavin May. I got him on Strava.
Dude, get him on here.
He runs, man.
Dude.
Peyton, if you're watching this, let's make it happen.
Talk about some knowledge. Y'all can get some.
So I'm gonna put that on my list. Gavin May. Okay. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, dude.
You could just after you leave, just make sure it uploads. Keep the browser open or whatever. Just don't close the app out until it tells you it's all the way uploaded. It shouldn't take long.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all hanging in there. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
All right.